What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to get into my 13th conference basketball tournament predictions video here. Today, we have got the Big Sky conference tournament predictions here. So, let's get right into this here. And that is going to start out with the standings. The number one seed here in the Big Sky is Eastern Washington. They finished with a 15-3 record in conference play. Very solid team. And then we have the 2-seeded Northern Carolina tied with the 3-seed Montana. Both those teams finish 12-6 in conference play. Then we get to the 4-seed Weber State finishing 11-7 in conference play. 5-seeded Montana State finishing 9-9 in conference play. Then we get to 6-seeded Portland State finishing 8-10 in conference play. Then we get to the first round game. 7-seed Northern Arizona tied up with 8-seeded Idaho State. Both those teams finished 7-11 in conference play. Then finishing it off here, we do have Idaho finishing 5-13 in conference play, and then Sacramento State finishing 4-14 in conference play. But anyway, guys, let's get into these predictions here. I think I got something mixed up here, actually. I got something mixed up. So apparently the 9 plays the 10, actually. So Idaho will not be playing Idaho State. It'll be Let's just change this real quick. Sacramento State, it'll be a 9 versus 10, then a 7 versus 8. So Northern Arizona's taking on Idaho State. Interesting. I guess to give the 1 seed the advantage for playing the lowest seed. But anyway, all right, let's get into this here. Starting out with Idaho taking on Sacramento State. The bottom 2 teams in the conference for a reason. Let's take a look at these 2 season matchups here. If we go back here, Idaho beat Sacramento State by 16 on the 5th of February, dominated them. And that was their only matchup, I believe. No, they played on the 28th, where Idaho won. So, interesting game. Honestly, I'm going to go with a slight upset here. I'm going to go with the 10 seed. Sacramento State beating Idaho here. Tough to beat a team 3 times on a neutral field or a neutral stadium. I think that Sacramento State can get the upset. And then the next matchup, we have the 2 evened up teams, Northern Arizona taking on Idaho State. Let's take a look here. These 2 played on the 3rd of February. Idaho State won by 2. That was in Northern Arizona. And then on the 29th of February, the last day of February, Northern Arizona won by 4 in double overtime. That game was being played at Idaho State. So very interesting matchups here. They look like they come down to the wire. This matchup can go either way. I am going to give the slight edge, though, to 7-seeded Northern Arizona there. But like I said, that game can go either way. All right, so interesting format how the Big Sky works. So on the Sunday games, we will have the 1 and the 10, then the 2 and the 7 right there. On the Monday games, we will have these matchups between the 4 and 5 and 3 and 6. I think this gives a little bit more of an advantage to the top seeds, which makes sense. But let's get into this. Eastern Washington taking on Sacramento State. I do not see Sacramento State upsetting Eastern Washington. That's a 1 versus a 10 for a reason. I don't think it happens. And then Moving on to Northern Colorado taking on Northern Arizona. Maybe a potential upset territory. Let's just take a look at the season series. These two played at the 30th. North Carolina won by 15. And then I think that was their only matchup of the year. Nope, they just recently played. North Carolina won by 8. I am going to give this one to Colorado, though. North Carolina, Colorado. As I mentioned with the first one, though, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. But this North Arizona team is going to be coming off a game versus Idaho State. I think that's going to get them fatigued. It'll be probably a battle between those two. And then you look at North Colorado, a team that's rested up. Better team overall. I think that the 2 seed does pull it out. So the top 2 seeds survive. Now we get to the next matchups on Monday. And that is going to be Weber State taking on Montana State. These two actually recently just played on Monday. A week later, they will get the chance to battle it out again. We look at the 30th. Weber State dominated this team. Weber State was a very solid team to start out the year, but hasn't played as good in conference play. I am going to go with Weber State, actually the university I'm attending at this current year. So why not go have some pride there? Give me Weber State in the win over Montana State. All right, and then finishing it off here with Montana taking on Portland State. Interesting battle between these two. If we look at the season matchups, these two met at the 25th. Portland State won 72-46. That game was being played in Portland State. The next matchup, Montana won by 9. But I'm honestly going to go with an upset pick here. Portland State dominated Montana in one game. I think they can do it again. So why not go with a big-time upset? Give me Portland State to upset the 3 seed of Montana. All right, so next up we have the Tuesday games. Keep in mind, Eastern Washington and North Colorado have 1 day of rest over these other two. But then we see here North Colorado or Eastern Washington taking on Weber State. These two met on the 28th. Eastern Washington won by 2, the 28th of January, and then Weber State won on the road. I'm going to go with my Weber State team, the Wildcats, beating Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington has been a great team in conference play, but I do think this Weber State team's talented. They showed it earlier this year. I think they can tap into this in this tournament, even with a game versus Montana State. I do believe that Weber State will. I think they'll probably beat Montana State pretty good. You never know what can happen, but I do believe in Weber State to upset Eastern Washington. And then the final matchup, North Colorado, or the next matchup, I guess, North Colorado taking on Portland State. These two met on the 20th. North Colorado won by 29 points. They met again. Portland State won in overtime. So that does become interesting. I do have to go with North Colorado with the extra days of rest. Portland State already has an upset with a tough matchup versus Montana, but I do have the 2 seed winning it. So the championship game, we have Weber State taking on North Colorado for the Big Sky title and a spot in the NCAA tournament. We take a look at these season series. Weber State did win by 19 on the 3rd. That was on the road. And Weber State won in overtime on the 29th when that game was being played at Weber. Interesting game here. I do have to give this one, I think, to North Colorado. I'm going to give them you know what, never mind. Why not have some pride? Let's go with Weber State. They have a better record overall. I think they're more talented. I've seen this team. They're decent, pretty good team out of the Big Sky. So I think they can go on a run here, beating North Colorado. It'll be a tough road, but I do believe in that team. So give me Weber State in the championship victory. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your predictions. Anyway, guys, peace out.